Hello BookTube, it's Ben here from the History Fellow channel. Today's video is going to be about a book review. It'll be a slightly different book review because in my opinion what makes this book I'm going to review is the photographs. They are excellent photographs, and in the book there's 200 of them. So if I can just show you a quick glimpse of, say, about a 10 or a dozen of the pictures, you'll get a good idea of what the book's about and the quality of the photos. But anyway, the book we're going to do today is called Britain's Coast at War. Invasion Threat, Coastal Forces, Bombardment and Training for D-Day. And that's written by Neil R. Story, and that's published by Pen and Sword Books. The book's £20, 272 pages long, and I'm pretty sure it was said on the blurb that there was around 200 illustrations in the book. They're throughout the book, they're really good. There's one page there. Just another one there. And the photographs are dotted throughout the page. It's not one of those where you get kind of 2 or 3 pictures, or 10 to 12 pictures rather, I should say, sort of squeezed onto the middle 6 pages. These are dotted throughout the book and they're really good. There we go. But basically, like the title says, it concentrates on the coast around the UK and looks at, like, possible invasion by the Germans. Some of you might have heard of Operation Sea Lion. Britain was worried about the Germans invading through East Anglia and Norfolk, getting through on the coast there. There was also, because there's only, I think it's 23 miles between France and the UK, you've got the English Channel that comes through, and obviously Britain was worried about some sort of invasion along there as well. And of course it was that bit of coastline that was suffering during the bombardment from the Luftwaffe, especially during D-Day. No, it wasn't D-Day, the Battle of Britain. Many of the camps, towns and cities like London along there really suffered during the Blitz and that sort of thing. So but it goes on about the training, what type of coastal forces, the invasion threat, and also being an island nation, we had to worry about being cut off from the various convoys with food supplies and that sort of thing. So yeah, the difference with this video or review is I'm now going to go through like the contents to give you a rough idea of what it's about, and then at the end of this video I'll do like a little chat with a number of the photographs that appear in the book. So if I just tell you the contents now, we've got 11 chapters altogether. We've got The Last Summer, which is all about the fishing industry and the women that worked to help, because obviously all the men were going off to war. A lot of emphasis was put on the women, and especially in the fishing industry. It looks at that. And then you've got The Phony War, frontline coast. Britain alone. Britain did kind of feel alone because the Germans were sweeping through Europe like nobody's business, taking country by country, places like France, Belgium, Holland, Poland obviously, and then obviously other countries in the Eastern Europe as well. And of course this was just before the Americans came into the war, because obviously they didn't come until Pearl Harbor. So that's Britain alone. You got the coast carries on, fight on the beaches, strangers on the shore, cross-channel bombardments. That'll especially be about the Battle of Britain, air raids, the cruel sea, and the turning of the tide. But what also is noticeable in this book is how the LDV was used and formed. The LDV stands for the Local Defence Volunteers. They were kind of like for those that medically couldn't really fight in the war, or those that were too old to serve in the war as soldiers. They formed their own volunteer groups dotted around the country, and it was up to them to keep up their training, and they would do things like watching out for fifth columnists, anyone parachuting in or trying to invade from the coast, and just generally they were kind of like the backup group that were hoping that they weren't going to end up using. But if you're in this country, if you've seen Dad's Army, then that's who the LDV kind of were, or who Dad's Army modelled their program on. But anyway, I just want to say before I start showing you the pictures, it's a fantastic book. It's well written. The author Neil Story's done a great job, and in fact it's one of those books you think, oh, I'm going to read through that, and then probably you end up reading through it 2 or 3 more times as well, not long after. So this is certainly a book I would fully recommend to anybody, whether you're here based in the UK or if you're abroad somewhere like America. Certainly an interesting book to read, and you can order this online. If you want to order the book online, I'll put a link below this video. Please feel free to use that link and get your own copy. If you've got any questions about the book, or maybe you've even read it, or you're into this particular subject as part of the World War II, then drop me any questions or thoughts just below this video, and I'll more than happily answer them. But anyway, that's this book, Britain's Coast at War, and you should find now, I'll carry on the video, but I'll put the images up on the screen so you can see them rather than having to suffer and see me. Anyway, I shall see you next time, but carry on watching for the rest of the video. Now in this first picture, I initially thought maybe these were like British soldiers that had been injured in battle and had problems with their eyes or something like that, or they'd been hit by shrapnel, but it's actually the crew from a captured German U-boat, and they've been taken to Greenock in Scotland, where they're currently being transported to their prisoner of war camp. So the blindfolds are on there so that they can't see any clues to the direction of where they're going to, or anything that might stand out that they might be able to pass on at a later stage to their German allies. The next one is a picture of a couple of ladies walking down the street, but it's clearly from an area that's received a lot of bomb blast, because if you look closely at the pictures, all the windows have been blown out. So it just shows that you know, even the smaller bombs could cause a lot of damage and result in quite a bit of homelessness, or people certainly having to move out. This is the second one, or the third one rather. This is Fisherman from Scotland, up in Peterhead. They used to work the ports from Peterhead and Fraserburgh. They would be collecting in the shrimps and the cockles to help with the fish supply, and then also they'd be working their way down the Scottish coast, where they'd also be doing the similar sort of jobs in helping bringing the fish off the boats, just to help the like the food industry in the UK and help keep the population fed. This next photo is, I think, probably my favourite one. There's a group of lads here sat on the fence or a wall, overlooking the coast, and they're stood next to a coastal soldier who's obviously doing some sort of duty, manning the coast. But if you look carefully, they're looking down at the beach, and you can see 2 or 3 ships, and it looks like it's groups of soldiers training or practicing for like the D-Day landings. This one amused me because it's obviously a group of soldiers doing their gas mask training, or certainly training for the possibility of gas. And it it just strikes me that you couldn't, you know, sort of say, "Oh, can I send that photo home to mum and dad," or something like that? Because there'd be no point, because, well, you can't really tell any of the individuals that stand out. They all look the same in their masks. Here we have a photo of where obviously you've had a larger bomb dropped during an air raid. You get, when daylight came, you get many people coming round, people trying to help to see if there was any survivors, if anyone was stuck in the rubble, or just to basically clean up the area, really. People would clear up the rubble and the bricks off the road so that cars and transport could still get past and that, but yeah, it was mainly for to try and see if they could help. It's kind of the Blitz spirit. This one is obviously a group of Scottish soldiers out on training, and they're all sorting out their kit, and they're obviously a regiment of bagpipers, because they're all cleaning their bagpipes, because obviously you need your bagpipes to go to war with. This is just to show you one of the bombs that if they didn't go off, it would show you the sheer size of them. If you imagine one of those landing on your roof, and I'm presuming these men are kind of soldiers, or the members of the land defence volunteers helping out. This is part of the training for D-Day. Obviously the training was a lot easier in that the ships could get closer into the coast, because normally when they dropped them off at D-Day, some of the ships couldn't get close to the shore, so the soldiers were having to run off the boat into like 7 or 8 feet worth of water And when you think you've got all your uniform and kit on, all your stuff in your bag, and you're carrying your rifle as well, that's going to weigh you down a lot, and that's why there were quite a few people that drowned, if they could actually get off the ships alive. This one is a picture of a Lewis gun. It's an emplacement on top of a cliff near Devon. These would be used for when there were air raids. One of the weapons they would use is Lewis guns. And then the next one, the thing that stood out to me on this picture is you've got the gentleman leaning out of his hidey hole, with looking out to sea on his binoculars, and then you've got this lad in the foreground who's kind of stood on some sort of thin ledge, and it looks like he's got a good 20-30 foot drop, because you can see some men further down, but that's a decent drop there. And then if you look along the beach here, you can see the anti-tank blocks on the beach. That row of white blocks, they're usually 6 to 8 foot cube shaped, and that was to help stop or prevent tanks and that coming onshore, in the hope that they couldn't be invaded. And if you notice, the beach is scattered with debris and old bits of shipping. That's just generally to cause a havoc for anyone trying to invade. This is actually a sea mine. Just to give you some sort of idea, these would be about 6 to 7 foot wide. And the thing was, they would float around in the sea, and the little prongs you can see on the float on the top. When the ship touched one of the prongs, that would then detonate the mine. So they were a pretty hefty size, and this one's clearly coming on the tide after getting loose and just been brought in by the tide and is sat up on the sea or in the sand. And there we go, that's some of the pictures. I would certainly recommend the book. Whether you're based in the UK or abroad, certainly give it a read. It's a very good read indeed. And that's Britain's Coast at War, written by Neil R. Story. My copy says it's 25 British pounds, and that's published by Pen and Sword. But I shall leave a link to the book below this video, so please feel free to visit and purchase a copy if you'd like to. And if you've enjoyed the video, please give us a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. But thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you in the next video. Thank you.